Hey, everybody. Earth Science. Good to see you folks again. We're going to go over the answers to questions 6 and 7 on Northia. So get Northia out, get your notes out, get something to write down stuff with. If you have questions, I want you to write that stuff down. And send me an email or post in my classroom so we can talk about them. Anyway, here's my little presentation. Answers to question 6 and 7, Northia. Boom. All right, so question 6, we were comparing city E and city G. Now, here's the thing about these two cities. City E, that's basically Farmington Hills. That's Detroit, okay? It's in a continental location, right? City E. It's right in the middle of the continent, so it's getting all continental air, and it's a mid-latitude city, right? Mid-latitude means it's in the halfway between the equator and the North Pole. So it's a mid-level latitude. Well, city G is also all of those things, but one major difference. Okay, I will say this. I want to start by saying this: their climates are literally the exact same. They have one minor/major difference. So here it is. Some of you may know the Earth is round and it's tilted. So because of its roundness and because of its tilted nature, and if you know anything about a tilt, basically the rule of a tilt is that one side of the tilt is tilted towards something, the other side has to be tilted away. It's kind of like a pretty standard principle in basic geometry. I don't even think it's in geometry, it's just lines. Anyways, in this particular image, you see the southern hemisphere. The South Pole is tilted more towards the sun. As a result, it's getting stronger rays, it's getting longer days, and it's going to be warmer, right? Northern hemisphere is tilted away. It's not going to experience those things. So it's going to be colder. So, excuse me. Wash your hands. If you just saw me sneeze, you might get COVID, so wash your hands really good. Anyway, here are the answers. Cities E and G have the exact same climate, except for one very obvious difference. It's when they experience the seasons, right? When we're hottest, city G is coldest, and vice versa. However, our hottest temperature is the same as their hottest temperature. Our temperature range is the same as their temperature range. Our average is the same as their average. So we have the exact same climate. We just experience the seasons at opposite times of the year. Again, that's because of the tilt. Next one is Northia, City J. City J is basically at the North Pole, all right? And what I want to remind you is that along the equator, right here, there's a low pressure belt, right? The equatorial low. And a belt, remember, goes all the way around the Earth, right? Well, 30 degrees north, there's another belt, goes all the way across. That is called the subtropical high. At 60 degrees north, that is another low pressure. We call it the subpolar low. Finally, we get to the 90-degree north mark here. We have the polar high pressure. And I'm sure all of you remember the fun little rhyme, highs bring clear skies. So basically what that means is that City J has clear skies a lot, which means very little precipitation, right? So that means it doesn't snow very often there. All right, now I want to remind you, a desert is not defined by temperature, it's defined by precipitation. So the fact that the North Pole doesn't have a lot of precipitation, that makes it a desert. However, I do want to add this point. Why is there snow? I always have kids ask, okay, so if it's a desert, how come there's so much snow up there? Well, the answer is, unlike a normal desert that you would think of, right? Like a really hot, dry climate, when it rains there, the water evaporates almost instantly. But at the North Pole, there's no melting because it's always below freezing up there. So what happens is it pretty much sticks around. So when it does snow, because all deserts will eventually have precipitation. when it does precipitate, it sticks around for a really long time. And that's why we have ice at the North Pole from 500,000 years ago, right? Because the layers of ice just form and form and form, and we can actually dig a hole in the ice and get some ice from almost 500,000 years ago, and we can study the contents of the atmosphere from that time. That's amazing, right? That's how we know what past climates used to be like, because we literally have air from those time periods. Point of the story, City J is a polar climate, which means it has a low average temperature. It's a desert, which means it has very little precipitation, but it has a huge temperature range. The range is caused by the change in the rays and the days, right? So those pesky rays and days, the rays are how direct the light from the sun is hitting the Earth's surface. Because remember, the sun heats the Earth and the Earth heats the air. All right. And then the days are day length, right? So in Michigan right now, we are experiencing stronger rays and we're experiencing longer days. And guess what's happening? It's getting warm. Okay. That's how seasons work. Now, at the North Pole and the South Pole, it has 6 months of darkness and 6 months of daytime. So in the 6 months of darkness, it experiences the number of how cold it gets is so cold, and I don't know the number, so I'm just kind of jibber jabbering right now. But it's insanely cold. It's so insanely cold that it just takes a few seconds before skin cells on your body start freezing any exposed skin. So it's super deadly cold. We'll call that super deadly cold degrees. Okay, that's how cold it gets. In the summer, though, it doesn't get warm. If you look at this climate graph, the summer temperatures at City J is roughly the same as our winter temperatures in Farmington Hills. So its warmest temperature is still cold. But the difference from its warmest temperature to its coldest is huge. So it has a huge range because it has a huge change in the rays and the days. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you listening. This has been a good time. I hope you too have had a good time. I hope to see you all soon. Be safe, be healthy, stay sane.